standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground.
Good morning, good morning. All right. I invite you to stand on holy ground. Take your shoes off if you want. I had to take my shoes off because I tripped up the stairs this morning and it like bruised my toe, and then I had this my thing, my strap around my toe. And when I was walking, it was like, wow, that's hurting. So take your shoes off. Enjoy the holy ground, right?
Earthing.
So, Marilyn, where'd you get off to? Did you leave? There she is. Marilyn, thank you so much this morning for the beautiful music, just filling up the neighborhood. Feels so good to come here and hear that. Thank you, Marilyn, so much. Beautiful, beautiful. How is everybody this morning? Well, that was good. Thank you. Okay. So now, I just invite you to breathe with me here. Put your feet flat on the ground. Get right here in this space. Breathe a mindful breath and relax into this beautiful day outside this morning. And feel the presence of love expand within you. Feel your heart warming your body with a tingling, glowing light. Can you get to that feeling? We join together this morning as CSL. We merge our lights together as one light. We expand our love as one love. We focus joy and peace upon the world as we speak our purpose statement together from this space of perfect harmony. So in your handout is our purpose statement. We'll speak it together now. As an intentional spiritual community, the purpose of CSL is to be a living environment for individuals to realize that we are all unique emanations of God, the love intelligence governing the universe. We embody the truth of our oneness with God, and we consciously practice this truth in our everyday life. Through the exploration of new thought, ageless wisdom, and the energy of unconditioned love, we are dedicated to individual transformation and to being a beneficial presence in the world.
will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet
And in this quiet place, I invite you to take a deep breath and just release all that is not quiet within. And as we go within, we are in that heart space, that place where the divine lives as each of us inside. And in this place, I know that there is only one power, one love, one everything. And this is the allness of the universe. That this love is manifest in all good around us. It is the creation and the creator. It is the love, the peace, the harmony, the beauty of all that we see. And it is from this place of knowing that we are one with this all good, that we are perfect emanations of that spirit, of that divine, that I speak my word for each of us. For I know and I affirm that we are each full expressions of peace, of love, of harmony, of creating power. And it is from this place that we speak our word, that our word is spoken always from this place, in all of our situations, in all of our relationships. We speak words reflecting our truth. We speak words with compassion, with love, with harmony, knowing that our word is a blessing to each, and our word is a blessing to ourselves. I declare that this divine essence, this word, goes forth, preparing the place ahead of us for more and more expression of good in our lives. And we open our consciousness to an even greater activity of spirit as our place in this world. And I bless all prayer requests, knowing that they are active right now in the Word, that they are manifesting in wholeness and goodness of this oneness. And each request is blessed
The fullness of love is shining through, and the answer is made manifest right now in divine goodness. This service is blessed, the music, the speakers, for this is a divine emanation of spirit. We are blessed to be here today, and we are each a beacon on the path to ourselves and to each other as we all express that divine truth in our lives. So being grateful for this truth and the good available to all of us, I release this word into the law, knowing it is already done in the mind of God, and I give thanks as we join together and declare, and so it is.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul.
I'd like to call your attention to the prayer chest just behind the sign under the tree. If there is something in your life that is giving you worries, or you just don't feel quite up to who you really are, please leave your concerns in the prayer chest, and the practitioner will do affirmative prayer on your behalf this week. From Sophocles, one word frees us of all the weight and pain of life. That word is love. From Ernest Holmes, talk to yourself, not the world. There is no one to talk to but yourself, for all experiences take place within. And from Erica Young, advice is what we ask for when we already know the answer but wish we didn't.
Good one, Lou.
All right, where are we here?
right here. Here I am. Yeah, it's fine. Thanks. Okay, so in August, our focus is the spoken word. You heard her refer to that a lot in the prayer this morning. And it always is so amazing to me how much Lou and I line up without ever actually talking about it. She knew that the focus is the spoken word, but she said a word today in her prayer this morning a lot, I noticed, because that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So the spoken word is the 7th principle that we're studying out of the 10 principles from John Randolph Price's book, Empowerment, the 10 Laws of Manifesting. So the 7th one is the spoken word, and we will study that the whole month of August. And so today, so I break those up into weeks, and so today we're talking about speak only love. And love was actually the principle, I think it was the 6th one, the one last week. So I'm going to get a little bit of a different twist on love, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. First of all, did anyone ask themselves a hard question from last week? Remember we talked about asking one person. Way to go, Donna. No, just kidding. Anyone take some time to actually think of some things to ask and write about and actually listen for the answers. We were talking about using hard questions to utilize our intuition and our divine knowing better. When we start our intuition flowing, when we actually listen and follow the path of that still small voice, we will be rewarded with ease and grace and peace of mind. Our faith in that intuitive voice, in that connection with our source, will be strengthened forever, because spirituality is accumulative. It never goes away. It just builds upon itself. And as we keep realizing more and more truth, then we continue to expand in our true nature, which is love, because that's what God is love. And there's only one power, which we are naming God. But there are many more names across the world in different cultures, all referring to the one source of their understanding. The important thing to know is that there is only one of something. A presence, an energy, and it's what we call intelligent. In fact, this source is our intelligence too, because we have our being in this source. Because this beingness that we call God is the only one, it contains all the information about its beingness and about its nature, right? Does that make sense? All the information is within it, which also makes it within us. We must go within us to access that divine information. And that's what we're doing when we meditate. Accessing the divine and downloading information through our intuition. We are learning to receive without getting in the way and limiting the information through our judgments, right? We're building our faith that, first of all, there really is an invisible intelligence everywhere present, which is the reality of our being, and we are calling it God. And second, we are strengthening our faith that we can indeed hook up and connect and communicate with this source to better our life and to help others better their lives as well. As we come to rely on this source, which emanates from within to without, our power of faith becomes automatic. We form new habits. We no longer need to practice and work so hard with our minds because we know life by heart, right? We're living our life through our heart energy, directly downloading from the divine where all the information resides. We have more accurate answers when we have more accurate information. Life becomes easier. But we must keep the channel of communication clear and open if we want the permanent peace that the kingdom of heaven, which Jesus called it, has to offer, the life beyond judgments. We can still experience a world of great diversity because we are all unique emanations of God, right? We can experience our diversity without one being right and one being wrong. We can still live in the duality of the world and not judge one right and one wrong. Our trouble comes in our resistance to something. When we want something to be different because we think we have to agree to be in harmony. So they or it, the situation, the condition, whatever it is, must be wrong if we don't agree, because surely I'm right, right? And I think that we do have to agree to be in harmony. But the point is to agree, not which stance is right or wrong. We can agree at the level of the heart and let God take care of the details. So much easier. In fact, it only takes one person to agree, and that's me. I agree with the divine by keeping that direct download option open and flowing. First of all, by thinking about God as often as I possibly can. And then by turning my life over to that invisible intelligence and trusting it to guide me through my intuition and feeling nature. And then, out of that faith, I speak only love. So I pulled out some big guns here today. So who remembers Catherine Ponder? Yeah, old time. So I looked at these books. These were written in the 60s. And Catherine Ponder was a unity minister and very well known for her prosperity work and her prosperity consciousness. Most of her books probably have to do with prosperity. And she named these books these really compelling names, like The Prosperity Secret of the Ages. Don't you all want to know the secret of the ages? The dynamic laws of prosperity, forces that bring riches to you. So I've gotten these out and I thought, I really love this stuff. You know me, this spiritual metaphysical nerd. I love this stuff. So I'm going to read just a little bit here out of a couple of her books. The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity is the first one. She says, surely there is great power within and around each of us for our use. You can release this pent-up substance, energy, and power within you for prosperous living through releasing deliberate thoughts, feelings, and mental pictures of success, prosperity, and riches. As you do so, your rich thoughts, feelings, and mental pictures are radiated outward into the rich, powerful ethers of this universe, where they make contact with the rich universal substance. This rich universal substance is filled with divine intelligence and power that then moves among and works through people, conditions, and opportunities to attract that which corresponds with the rich radiations that you have sent forth, and the prosperous results then appear. Indeed, this wonderful universe is rich and friendly to everyone. Isn't that good news? It wishes all mankind to be prosperous, well, and happy, and for the affairs of man and the world to be in divine order. And out of her book, Prosperity's Secret of the Ages, in her chapter 2, the title of the chapter is An Ancient Secret for Happy Living. And this is what we're going to spend the rest of the day talking about, this ancient secret. So you heard in our purpose statement, we talk about ageless or ancient wisdom and new thought. She talks a lot about ancient secrets in her work. The ancients knew a marvelous secret for happy living that you also should know about and use. If you will make it a basic success attitude, it can transform your life. The ancients' secret for happy living was the act of blessing. So did you notice how many times Lou said blessing this morning? How interesting, Lou. Most of us have heard the terms blessing or bless you, but seldom have we realized the power we have to experience health, harmony, and prosperity through the ancient practice of blessing. The ancients felt that a blessing carried great power to accomplish good. The dictionary explains why there is dynamic power for good in the simple act of blessing. To bless means to make holy or whole by spoken words. To bless means to ask divine favor for some situation or condition. To bless means to wish a person or situation well. To bless means to make happy or prosperous. To bless means to gladden, glorify, praise. You and I might simply say that to bless means to bring forth good in a situation, condition, or personality, whether there seemed any good to be brought forth or not. To bless is to judge not according to appearance, as Jesus advised, but to judge according to right judgment, that of beholding the good and thereby bringing it forth in a condition or a person. How often have you condemned, criticized, or cursed a situation and only brought forth more problems and unhappy experiences from it? Whereas if you had dared to take the opposite view and bless the situation, you would have activated the omnipresent good within it, and you would have witnessed a happy result from it. She says, begin now to bless every experience that comes into your life. When you bless a problem, injury, lack, or enemy, you are calling forth the good within them, and you will be pleasantly surprised at the good that comes through them. Bless your money. Bless your debts. Bless your problems. Bless your food. Bless your body and your health. Bless your mail, M-A-I-L. Bless your work, your tools. Bless your family, your business associates, your friends. Above all, bless your enemies or those troublesome, trying people in your life. Wherever there is a lack, slip in a blessing. You can bless an empty purse into a full, happy one. Say to yourself often, I improve every condition in my life by blessing it. As Paul advised in Scripture, bless and curse not. Okay? Never underestimate the ancient secret for happy living. It is a simple but powerful way to release good into your life, and it will work to improve every phase of your world if you will invoke it by speaking it. Use often the dynamic power of blessing by declaring, I begin now to bless everything in my life as good, good, good. It will prove to be so. You like Catherine Ponder? Yeah, I do too. And so now along that, the lines of a blessing, speaking blessings, I ran across this lovely book. I think when I had the bookstore on Main Street here, someone brought it in. It was a used book, and they brought it in, and I started looking through it, and I'm like, oh, this guy, love this writing. It's called The Gentle Art of Blessing, and his name is Pierre Prater-Vond. Has anyone heard of this? No, there's a couple in here, yeah. So I just would like to share the introduction, actually the introduction and part of this, how it all started, how he came across the gentle art of blessing, because I think it's kind of everyone's story. And so let's hear what he has to say. First of all, in the introduction, he says, this book is born of a spiritual experience that profoundly marked my life and enabled me to discover the deep meaning of the act of blessing. Blessing rests on spiritual laws that each of us can discover so that we may live better and more fully. My own experience reinforced my intuitive sense that these spiritual laws, described in the great spiritual teachings of humanity a long time ago, constitute the very basis of our living in the universe, often without our knowledge. They are as precise and effective as the laws of the physical world, and the discovery of these laws could be one of the greatest breakthroughs of the new millennium. And I'm just going to say, I think the discovery of spiritual laws will be the greatest discovery coming, okay? It would give an extraordinary impetus to the evolution of human consciousness, of individuals and nations. You will see that by blessing, you begin living your life in alignment with these spiritual laws. From there, untold rewards await, including lasting joy, a sense of renewal, and peace within. And so this story is how it all started for him. That's the name of the chapter, How It All Started. And he's got the same scripture as Catherine Ponder had. Bless them that curse you. So he says, at one point in my career, I had to make one of the most difficult decisions of my career. Either keep my job, but accept a situation that violated the most elementary professional ethics, or quit. So rather than commit moral harry-carry, I quit. In the following weeks, I developed a deep-seated and all-consuming resentment, such as I had never experienced before, against the people who had put me in the impossible situation. When I awoke in the morning, my first thought was of them. As I showered, as I walked along the streets, as I went shopping or jogging, this resentment obsessed me, eating me up, draining my energy, and robbing me of all peace. I was literally being poisoned. I knew I was harming myself, but despite hours of meditation, prayer, and spiritual study, this obsession clung to me. I felt and behaved like a total victim. Has anyone ever done that before? Gosh, right? Then one day, a statement in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount struck me as never before. Bless them that curse you. Suddenly, everything became clear. This is what I had to do. Bless my former persecutors right then and there. I started to bless them in every way imaginable, in their health and their job, in their finances and their work, their family relations and their peace, their abundance and their goodness. The ways to bless them were endless. By blessing, I mean wishing from the bottom of the heart in total sincerity. That's important there. The very best for those people, their complete fulfillment and deepest happiness. This is the most important dimension of blessing, sincerity that comes from the heart. This is the power that transforms and heals and elevates and restores. At first, these blessings were a conscious decision activated by my will, but born of a sincere spiritual intention to heal my thinking. The key factor was the intention. Slowly, the blessings moved from being an act of the will to a yearning of the heart, because the act of blessing comes essentially from the heart. I blessed those people all day long. When I was brushing my teeth, jogging, on my way to the post office or supermarket, washing dishes, and before falling asleep. Individually and silently, this process of blessing continued for quite a few years. After a few months of this practice of blessing, one day, quite spontaneously, I started blessing people in the street, on the bus, at the post office, or when I stood in lines. At the beginning of this wonderful discovery, I would sometimes walk the whole length of a plane or train just for the joy of silently blessing the travelers. Unreservedly and unconditionally. This gentle art of blessing became a silent song, the driving power of my spiritual life. Little by little, blessing people became one of the greatest joys of my life. And it still is now. After many years of practice, I have found it to be one of the most efficient ways of staying spiritually centered and of freeing my thoughts from negativity, criticism, and judgment. I never received any roses from my former employer, not even the slightest expression of regret. Rather, I have received roses from life by the armful. Yeah. So I thought that was beautifully written. And so he has a whole book on practicing the art of blessing. So today I want to be sure and include ourselves when we speak our blessings. So I'd like to share some of these words. I found this on the internet, and it's by Sandy Woznicki. How to motivate yourself with kindness instead of criticism. Because when I read this, I saw myself in this as well. And I think no matter how much we practice spirituality, she explains in here a little bit of why we tend to be so hard on ourselves and so negative towards ourselves. So I really want to include these blessings to include ourselves as well. She says, "It's crazy to me now to look back and realize how freaking hard I was on myself for decades. Had I ever talked to anyone else the way I talked to myself, it would surely have left me friendless and jobless. And I definitely would have been kicked out of school." She says, basically, I was a bully, just to myself. If I said something awkward, I called myself an idiot. When I couldn't find the motivation to clean my house, I called myself a lazy slob. If I wasn't invited to a party, I told myself, it's because no one liked me. At a certain point, I realized this strategy wasn't working out for me. It wasn't making me any smarter or more successful. It wasn't making people like me more. It wasn't getting my house any cleaner. What it was doing was making me feel like crap every day, and it got old. Looking back, I realize now my catalyst for change was when I finally pushed past my social anxiety and I found the courage to take classes at the gym. I found that I performed better when in a group because of the positive energy of people cheering me on. After a while, though, I noticed I didn't cheer people on quite as much as they cheered me on. And since it felt good for me to hear it, I busted through my fears again and started cheering on everyone else in the class. It felt really good. It felt even better when it dawned on me that I could talk to myself that way too. And that is what self-compassion really is. Self-compassion is speaking to yourself as kindly and empathetically as you would a friend. It involves consciously directing kindness inward, like speaking blessings to yourself. Self-compassionate people recognize that being imperfect, failing, and experiencing challenges are all inevitable parts of life, so they're gentle with themselves when confronted with painful experiences, rather than getting angry when life falls short of their expectations. Therefore, they speak in kind words, intentionally, to themselves. Self-compassion is recognizing the shared humanity in our suffering and difficult experiences. Anybody always think they're the only one, right? Why do we do that? I'm the only one that feels that way. When we're being compassionate towards someone who is going through a hard time or has made mistakes, we say things like, "You're not alone. Everyone makes mistakes. You're only human. I've been there too." There is comfort in recognizing that pain and making mistakes is a part of life. It's part of the process. It's how we grow, and we all do it, literally every human. When we don't take the time to say that to ourselves when we misstep, we feel isolated, and isolation breeds shame and separation and makes us feel worthless. One of the biggest misconceptions about self-compassion is that it is the same as self-esteem. We grow up believing that high self-esteem is the key to feeling good about ourselves. Anybody hear that? Right? The problem is, in our culture, is to have high self-esteem, we have to be above average or special in some way. It's almost an insult to be considered average. If someone were to say, "There's nothing special about her," that would make a person feel especially bad. So by this measure, self-esteem is conditional to everyone else's status in comparison to ours. Our self-esteem, and therefore our self-worth, goes up and down as those around us goes up and down. A lot of people have the misconception that self-compassion is self-indulgence. They worry that they could be too self-compassionate and too soft on themselves, that they need to be hard on themselves in order to keep on track. But self-compassion enhances motivation. It doesn't hinder it. She says, let's say your friend is upset that she texted someone, but they haven't texted her back yet, right? Do you say to her, "That's probably because you did something wrong. I bet she doesn't like you anymore, and maybe she never really did. You should apologize even though you don't know what you did wrong, since she most likely will be mad at you for something," right? Absolutely not. You don't say that. Not only is it the mean thing to say, you know objectively that this is almost certainly not true. You would likely say, "I know that feeling too. I get disappointed when I don't get a response from someone, but she likely forgot," right? Don't worry. She'll still get the message. She'll get back to you, or you can message her again later. So which one of those feels more motivating? Which one feels more stressful? Which way do you talk to yourself when you slip up? The motivational power of your inner bully comes from fear, whereas the motivational power of your self-compassion comes from love. And so she has a couple ways to practice self-compassion. Nothing you haven't heard before, but a good reminder always. Mindfully recognize when you hear your inner critic talking. We get so used to using negative self-talk that we don't even notice it. We just run with the critical stories we're telling ourselves. But you can't change anything unless you recognize when you're doing it by mindfully bringing your attention back to your thoughts without judgment. First, notice how you feel. Remember, we talked about noticing how we feel because self-criticism feels crappy. That's your sign that you need to do a little mindful digging. So she says the best tool to use is to ask yourself when you feel that sign, what is the story I'm telling myself right now? The story I'm telling myself is that I'm not a good mom because I let my house get messy, and I'm not thinking about how happy and healthy my kids actually are. Or the story I'm telling myself is that I'll never lose weight because I ate those cookies, and I'm not giving myself permission to make a mistake. What is the story you're telling yourself, and what language are you using to tell it? Number 2 way to practice. Understand the positive intent behind your negative self-talk. I really liked this one. Most people don't say this or bring this up. So understanding the positive intent behind that ego voice, that critical voice. This is going to help you reframe your negative self-talk into self-compassion. Let's say you've been wanting to lose weight, but you look down and you realize you just ate an entire box of cookies. And now your harsh inner critic is saying, you're disgusting. You'll never be able to lose weight. You have no self-control. This is why you're so fat. Again, words we would never say to someone else. What is the positive intent? What is the self-critic voice trying to achieve? It's going to be self-compassion. Well, that negative voice, it wants me to be more conscious of when I'm eating and what I'm eating. It wants me to be a little stronger when I have these cravings so I can lose weight. It wants me to make a better choice in the future, right? It's not trying to beat you up for the sake of beating you up. That voice has a purpose. It's just using the wrong words. So restate what your self-critic is saying with the voice of self-compassion by talking to yourself as you would a friend or a loved one. Recognizing the shared humanity in the experience and consoling in the fact that this too shall pass. Can you look inward and say, I see what you're doing here. Thanks, subconscious, for the reminder. I know you're just looking out for me. Now that we've heard what you have to say through the self-critic voice, let's hear what the self-compassion voice has to say. So self-compassion would say, I get it. I've had a stressful day. I skipped lunch and I'm tired. I just fell back on an old habit. I made a mistake. Now that I know why I ate all those cookies, I can make a better decision tomorrow. All is not lost. Which one of these feels better? Which one of these would motivate you to do better tomorrow? So, and she ends this by saying, if and when during this growth process you find yourself thinking, I just can't stop talking to myself in that negative way. It doesn't feel natural to speak positively to myself. She says, I want you to understand 2 things. First, self-compassion is a habit. That negative self-talk you've been doing for years has simply become a habit. It's become your habitual reaction to stress, adversity, and failure. And that's what we're doing here, breaking old habits and creating new ones. She says, second, you have a natural negativity bias that is working hard right now. Has anyone heard that? A negativity bias. I came across that not too long ago too. She says, when you feel like you can't be self-compassionate, understand our natural negativity bias. We all have a negativity bias. It's there with the intention to keep us safe. Your ancestors who were on the lookout for mountain lions lived longer than those who sniffed flowers all day. But we are centuries beyond the point in our evolution where we need to be on guard in order to keep safe at all times. When you're living with chronic stress and anxiety, your negativity bias is sticking in the on position, meaning all you can see are threats. What could go wrong? What is wrong? What might be wrong? She says, know that you have blinders onto positivity, that your negativity bias is making you focus solely on challenges instead of achievements. She says, it's what I call wearing poop-colored glasses instead of rose-colored glasses. She says, mindfully notice when you're wearing them. Then take the glasses off. They smell, and they aren't helping anything anyway. So here's a couple of blessings. I bless myself as a radiant child of God. I bless you as a radiant child of God. I bless our minds, our bodies, and affairs as they now express radiant perfection. We offer this song.
When I was younger, my daddy said to me, it's okay to get caught up in the mystery. Sometimes you'll sit and wonder, not understand what you see. Don't confuse the lines of truth and make-believe. I'm pretty sure that Jesus isn't worried about tattoos and cigarettes, or if you wear a golden cross around your neck. What about loving your neighbor and giving to the poor? I just want to love like that and nothing more. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm free. I just know I'm not the person that I used to But on this side of heaven, you won't always get it right. Sometimes you'll rise above, sometimes you gotta fight. You'll never know the stories that lie beneath the skin, but judging now won't change the broken places they've been. Yeah, I know that Jesus ain't worried about tattoos and cigarettes, or if you wear a golden cross around your neck. What about loving your neighbor and giving to the poor? I just want to love like that and nothing more. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm free. I just know I'm not the person that I used to be. Yeah, I know that Jesus isn't worried about tattoos and cigarettes, or if you wear a golden cross around your neck. What about loving your neighbor and giving to the poor? I just want to love like that
So I'm going to leave you with some words from Pierre Pratervand. He says, like a lever, the simplest tools are sometimes the most efficient and powerful ones. Such is the gentle art of blessing. And from Catherine Ponder, I begin now to bless everything in my life as good, good, good. And so it is.
God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moon glow. God, you are every starshine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe. And your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
All right, hello, hello. So if you'll take your gift in your hand, please. I consciously bless this gift, knowing that it goes forth, blessing our church, our world, and I release this knowing that it multiplies as I give, I receive, and so it is. And our affirmation, my God is a God of plenty.
These next words are in the handout also. I am sacred love, sacred love, is all that I am. I am sacred love, sacred love, is all that I am. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. I am deep with joy. I am deep with joy. Deep with joy is all that I am. I am deep with joy. Deep with joy is all that I am. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a gracious way. God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place.
gifts are gratefully received as they go forth, blessing ourselves and our world. And so it is.
Thank you so much, Lou. So in your handout now, we have a place called Claiming Our Good, where we speak these, a spoken word. We're going to speak these together. So here we go. We're just going to read them all the way down. My happiness is God's business. Therefore, no one can interfere. I banish the past and now live in this wonderful now, where happy surprises come to me each day. Every person is a golden link in the chain of my good. God utilizes every person and every situation to bring me my heart's desires.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
All right, let's speak our last affirmation together on your handout. Here it goes. I have perfect confidence in God, and God has perfect confidence in me.